Hi, this is Joe Leigh here for SecondsOut. Ben Davison joins me here. Delighted, Ben Davison. We've just seen Shabaz Masoud knock out Jack Bateson in the 12th. How happy are you? How good was that moment? We've obviously seen it with Leigh Wood this year as well. Leigh Wood over here supporting tonight. Round 12, that's the round of this year for you.
Leigh Wood set the trend off, hasn't he? Won his world title in the 12th round, defended it in the 12th round. Leigh Wood, Shabaz's idol, so he thought I got a copy of him. No, the plan was for Shabaz to really dominate throughout, but to really take over in the late stage of the fight. And we always felt that we would be able to get a stoppage at any point throughout the fight, but especially late on in the fight. And we said that before the fight, and that's what he was able to do.
So that was the plan.
Not to leave it to the 12th round, but yeah, to get a late stoppage and gradually turn up the heat.
How would you assess the performance overall from 1st to 12th?
I thought it was very good. Obviously, there were some imperfections throughout. I think there was moments where he strayed away slightly from the plan. However, overall, he stuck to it enough, and the fight went how we planned for it to go.
Yeah, he was very precise with landing his punches. You'd see with Jack, he would be maybe even throwing more some of the rounds, but he wouldn't be landing accurately or even kind of connecting with them.
Yeah, the thing was Shabaz was controlling the moments and Jack was throwing to try and claw back moments, which we worked on. There was a few times that's where we knew that the counter punches would come from, but there were some moments where Shabaz was a little bit probably too inactive in the high guard, or taking away the distance in moments where he probably could have turned up the heat.
So obviously that was a British title eliminator. What would you look for him to do in order to get that shot? Like, when do you expect it to come round?
I don't know. I think that we'll have to have a look. I think that Liam Davis is boxing Baluta next week. If Liam Davis is to win that fight, then that would probably make sense. A British and European title, that solidifies you being fringe world level, in my opinion. That's where I believe Shabaz is at. So, but if not, I think that, just to be honest, I wouldn't be fussed in bypassing the British title, if I'm honest, and Shabaz should have a good ranking with the WBA now, and seeing where we go, and some fights that make sense to help Shabaz's development. That was only his 11th fight.
Yeah, definitely 11-0 now. Why do you say you potentially would not look to go to the British, or you wouldn't be bothered about it necessarily? Yeah. Would you rather international? If so, why?
No, it's not that I prefer one either way, but I just think that the goal is to be a world champion, and if the fights that make sense and the styles that make sense are international, and fights that will bump him up the WBA rankings. He was ranked with the WBC. I'll have to check if he still is. And then that might be the route that we decide to go.
How much does it mean for you on a personal level? I remember speaking to Shabaz a couple of months ago, before he even knew, or at least before he told me, and he was didn't know what was going to happen, wanted the big fights. You've obviously worked with him for a while now. How much does this moment mean for you as Ben Davison, just a person?
Yeah, look, Shabaz is one of the most dedicated lads in the gym. He probably does the most studying of all the things that we give him to study than any lad in the gym. He's been consistently in the gym throughout, since pretty much this year, where he's only boxed once, and it's important for us that this performance showed that level of dedication. It did so.
Do you think Liam gets the job done next week?
I don't really know. Baluta's a tricky customer, a hard fight for anybody, and one that I'm intrigued to see as well. So.
Okay, I just want to get your opinion on the Deji fight thing. Like, how do you make of all this YouTube influencer things? What's your stance on this?
Look, I think it's drawing attraction to boxing. I think that obviously some people are probably getting confused as to what level it is, or I don't want to say real boxing, because they're getting in there, and you got to respect that. But it's drawing attention to boxing. I think it's probably bringing money to boxing, and I'm happy with it.
So if, like, say, KSI, I'm not trying to get you out, and this is going to be the title, by the way, but if he walked into your gym like one of these influencers, would you work with one of these influencer boxers?
Well, it is. I think that the biggest thing for me to respect it is, are they applying themselves? Like, one thing I'll say about Jake Paul is he has committed himself to live more like a professional boxer than a lot of professional boxers. and I respect that.
So you train Jake Paul?
I'm not saying I'll train Jake Paul.
I got my title.
If these guys that are doing this, whatever you want to call it, YouTube boxing, if they are applying themselves like professionals, I respect that. I respect people that apply themselves in that manner.
Okay.
In whatever they do, whatever walk of life.
Okay, good to hear. One more thing then. I think the WBC have officially said they're not going to rank any Russian fighters because of obviously what's going on in the war. Why did you make that? Do you think that's the correct decision? Obviously it came out a couple of days ago, so I'm just asking for your opinion on this.
I haven't really got an opinion on that. I'm not quite sure. I think that we can't blame every Russian boxer for the situation, but I'm sure the WBC are under pressure as well to make these types of decisions. So it's not for me to really have an opinion on. I'm not overly educated on the whole situation and the position that the WBC hold and what statements they've made on it.
Fair enough. Royston Barney-Smith, when are we going to see him, and also the two guys that have just signed to Matchroom? Do you have a date for these three?
Royston's boxing on the Tyson Fury undercard, so we'll see him soon. And Pat and Mark, Simon Matchroom, boxing in 2 weeks' time on the Dillian White undercard. Over the moon. Got everything that they need to get the most out of their potential, and as long as they apply themselves, then they will do. And if they do that, we've got a couple of special fighters.
Good to hear. I don't want to. We've spoke about Fury 03, but do you still keep in contact with Fury? Like, obviously, you're going to be in the same fight week and stuff. Like, do you still talk to him a bit?
Yeah, bits and bobs. Of course, I still talk to Tyson. There's no fallout. I never fall out of any fighter that I work with and then don't work with, because I think that when that happens, it usually boils down to the coach getting the ump over the money or whatever. But I don't do it for that, and I think that I say that. I think a lot of people probably say that, but I think that shows in the sense that I've always kept a great relationship with any fighter that I have worked with and then ended up not working with, because that's not the basis of the reason why I do what I do.
And actually, I just saw yesterday, I think Feb 4th, Josh Taylor, the rematch is confirmed. Just a word on that rematch with Catterall.
Yeah, obviously it's the same with Josh. I want Josh to be victorious. I believe that he will be so. And he's got the full backing of us and everybody in the gym as well. We still keep in contact with Josh, and he's messaged Shabaz support tonight, and we'll be rooting for him.